All right. Hello and welcome everyone to this episode of the Business Accelerator series with me, Smriti Goswami. I conduct these calls once in a while whenever I get some sort of an inspiration, or if something is going on in somebody's world and then they happen to speak about it, and I realize that this conversation might contribute to everybody in general. So I just keep creating these calls. There's no like, it's not like every week or every month or whenever. It is whenever I feel like. So yeah, you have to keep a lookout for these calls. And if you go to my YouTube channel, the rest of the calls, the previous calls also, I think I've done 12 before this. You can go through those also. So these are very, very contributive calls, and yeah, I wonder how they can help you. Now, today we'll be talking about, there's a lot that's going on in people's universes, and especially where they seem to be really stuck, where they feel they're not able to choose certain classes or anything, or they're not able to choose certain things that they would truly like to, because somewhere they feel money is a major issue, or there are a lot of times when they're not able to go ahead and create things that they would like to, because again, they seem to be stuck because of the point of view that maybe who's going to choose this, maybe this particular product is so expensive, why would anybody choose this and all. So if any one of you is going through that space or phase where they feel really, really stuck, where they feel you're not able to create at all, where you feel nobody is choosing you, where you feel sort of really badly stuck. So I'm here today to discuss where all and how you end up feeling stuck and how to outcreate that. So basically, whatever's going on in your world, it is created not by the environment outside of you. All right. Most of us think, oh, this is the situation, that's why we can't create this, or there's not enough money, that's why I'm not able to choose this and I'm not able to create this. Or sometimes we think, I'm not feeling well, that's why I can't create it. Or there'll be a whole lot of reasons, right? Now, 90% of the times, you're not able to create things that you'd like to create, because you have to, it's not the outer environment outside of you, it's the environment within you. So what are your points of view? What are the things that are keeping you actually truly stuck, which do not allow you to outcreate that? So we'll be discussing a little bit about that. And so before we get started, does any one of you have any questions related to this? Something, so don't ask like very personal questions, because this is not really a call for facilitation as such. But if you have certain questions, what I would really like to know is, where do you find yourself stuck? And I'll just ask a few of you, you can just unmute and just speak about it. Welcome, Rashi. Hi. So you can just sort of ask.
Sorry, I got late. Our client servant, she'll be attending your session.
All right.
I told her stay rather, and she'll be here.
Cool, awesome. So where did you guys find yourself stuck? What is it that's going on for you guys? And if you can just unmute and quickly sort of speak about it, or maybe you can just sort of write.
Smriti, what question can we ask here when we are stuck?
Sorry, go ahead. Can you ask again?
What question can we ask here when we are stuck? It is expensive, or we cannot afford. Whenever that thoughts come in our mind, then what question should we ask here?
Okay, cool. So I just keep on bringing in your questions, and I will facilitate all of you together. So anyone else? Thanks for that question. Yes, Priya. Yes, Priyanka.
I have a question. So this is what I hear a lot, right? It's because of like what we think about our own point of view and everything. So okay, I get it, but sometimes it goes into like self-judgment, like what is so wrong in me that I'm creating all this? Like it goes to the wrongness of me at some point, because people like, you create your own reality. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, like, it's like, like what else can I do other than blaming myself for it? Like, Like you can ask questions and everything, but it all like all the clearing questions sounds like you're blaming yourself.
Cool. Thanks for that. Who else? I'm just listening to each one of you, all your questions, and then I'll just talk about it once and for all with all of you. Ritu has said something, stuck or limit with business and money. All right. Anyone else have any other questions? Go ahead, Rashi.
No, my client asked. She's asking.
Hi, Smriti, Nancy here.
Hi, Nancy.
So I have this question. Actually, my business got registered today only. So I registered a business today. So the legal registration was complete today. So now I'm going into this ki, oh shit, ye matlab kar bhi payenge, matlab will it even, am I even capable of like driving this? So that last minute thing, right? So it's like how do I say it? It's like I want to go really great and big with it, but at the same time, I have this fear to really take off as well.
Cool.
So it's
and does that fear belong to you?
No, of course.
The fact that you trusted yourself enough to go ahead and register your business means something. How many other people do you know around you who actually have their businesses registered? So that speaks for you. Do you get it? See how far you're already thinking, and also acknowledge the level of awareness you have with this particular creation. So just trust yourself and go for it. Okay, cool. Anyone else? And I'll address a lot of things based on the questions that all of you are asking. Anyone else have any other questions? Anything that you guys find yourself stuck with? Yes.
Hi, Vijaya.
So, hi, Vijaya. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. So just an experience, something that you said right now, that how our point of view creates our business. So for a client, I'm a lawyer, and for a client requested that they need a subject matter expert for a training for board of directors, and if I can interview the candidate. After interviewing, the vice president was so impressed with my line of questions and knowledge, that he asked me if I did be willing to take the training. But I got so scared. I mean, I directly outright said, thank you so much. But I think someone from a compliance team or a company, better. Only for me to realize that I could have done that.
So what happens? Why do we get scared? The reason we tend to get scared is because we don't want to be judged. Because we start looking at ourselves through our employer's eyes, and we start looking at where are the different places where they can pinpoint our mistakes. Okay. So, but the thing is, if you are only constantly doubting yourself and judging yourself, that's what you're putting out into the universe. And when people are interacting with you, that's what they're seeing about you. And that does not really create much, does it? So, yeah. And on hindsight, you realize that I wish I had actually trained those people. So just be very present and say, okay, what am I scared of? What is it that's stopping me from actualizing this? What's the value of taking a step behind? You know what happens? A lot of us will ask lots of questions to the universe. We'll be like, and we'll keep saying, we'll keep asking for a lot of things, not just questions. We'll keep asking for a lot of things from the universe. There is an energy that we are aware of and that we'd like to actualize here in this world. But the moment the universe starts gifting you that, you feel you're not ready for it and you want to run away, and then you go into hiding, and then that doesn't create. So that's the reason. Thank you for this question, because this is the reason why I named this call The Mountain Is You. There's nobody stopping you. You are stopping yourself, each one of you. Okay? You are the biggest mountain that you need to overcome and out-create. Your points of view. Yeah. Go ahead.
As you rightly stated that, you asked universe, I asked universe gave that opportunity to me, and I kind of chickened out.
Cool. So what next opportunity can you look for and create for yourself? See, if you were potent enough to create this opportunity, how many more other opportunities can you create for yourself? Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So just go ahead and choose that. There are a lot of times that this happens. I've done that lots of times too. So, but tomorrow's another day, and you again, the thing is, the best thing is you always have a choice to start again, to keep creating you. All right, does anyone else have any questions, or should I go ahead with things? Anyone else?
Oh, I have a question, but it might be a bit personal though. So I was doing energy pool the other day, and I have people borrowing money from me. Like in 1 week, 3 people asked me to borrow money from me, and I'm like, I energy pool to get money, not for people to borrow money from me. It's weird.
Cool. So if you've been asking for money, see, it's just so cool. If they're asking to borrow money, see what works for you. If you'd like to give or not, and say, okay, cool, universe, I think maybe you got this wrong. I'm asking for money and not looking at lending it out. And just you can just have a small joke with the universe and just say, okay, cool. What will it take for things to change? And also acknowledge that somewhere when you are doing those energy pulls, somewhere you are also being the energy of money. And how many people are you attracting by that, where they see or they seem to sense that you actually have a lot of money, and then they feel it's okay for them to ask for money from you. So maybe you're also being the energy of money at this moment, right? Where you're inviting them. So cool. All right. Any other questions? Anyone else? All right. Cool. Let's get started now. So in case any one of you have any questions, just don't write, just unmute and ask, or raise your hand on the, like, just put up your hands on this.
Hi, so I have a lot of like I feel stuck with either business or relationships very often. So I just want some clearings or some,
So
some guidance.
what aspect of the business do you find yourself stuck in? Like what
So
happens?
basically, right now I'm in a situation where I have an offer from a company, and versus where I have an opportunity to start something of my own. So there are a lot of pros and cons and lists and blah blah, so many things. But I'm finding it. I'm still finding it a situation where I'm stuck.
So what are your fears of starting your own business?
So the company that is offering me the position is actually family based. So maybe that is something which is coming in the way, or I don't know exactly what it
So
is.
ask what am I aware of here? Sometimes your body and being already aware of, you are totally aware of what's going on, right? Maybe not cognitively, but energetically you're aware. So
Yes.
you already sense that maybe it might not be a contribution, or maybe you might not have enough say in this matter or in that business, in that workplace. So yeah.
But what if there's a conflict of interest here? So like my energy is saying maybe I should start my own thing, but my logical mind is saying that maybe it would be safer to go with option B, and just like live your life as well. So
And
I don't know. Yeah.
how often have you seen logic work for you and for others?
Well, actually, I've always been sort of a hashtag logical person. So it's very difficult for me to sometimes accept energy over logic. So yeah.
Cool. If that's what you'd like to choose, then continue choosing that. But you also know that you have a choice to change. And all this while, if you've been really using a lot of logic to choose things, what if you can actually be present? See, what happens is when you're using logic, you're cutting off, there's a lot of conclusion based thing.
Right.
There's
Yes.
a lot of judgment, rightness or the wrongness of the choice and stuff.
Absolutely.
And then where is the awareness? You're just cutting off total awareness. So you're basing your choice based on total conclusion and judgments. And that doesn't really create, because when you cut off your awareness, that doesn't leave you with much choice.
Right.
You get it?
I totally get it.
Yeah. So if I would, so basically I would just invite you to choose something. Like if you are stuck between two things and you're not sure how to go about it, choose to live with the choice for the first 3 days. Day 1, 2, and 3. Choose having that choice, and living that choice and get the energy and the sense and feeling of how it feels like to be living that choice. Okay. And then the fourth day onwards, fourth, fifth, and sixth day, pretend that you don't have the choice.
Okay.
Or that thing is not available there for you.
Okay.
Right? So first 3 days, choose something and choose to live with that choice. And the next 3 days, choose to live without that choice. See what works for you. So get a sense of how do you feel? Do you feel light? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel a space of possibilities with that choice?
Right.
Or you don't feel that? So just be very present. Say, let me give you an example. Suppose you get an opportunity to work in, say, Bangalore, and there's another opportunity where you have to work here in Mumbai. So everything is good here, your home is here, and everything is fine. But Bangalore,
Logically, that is, yeah.
yeah, right. So the pay here is also good, equally good, and pay there is also equally good. So, but there you feel you'll have to go set up a house and do all sorts of stuff. So you'll be like, I'd rather just be with my family and be around here. But what is calling out to you? Follow the energy, because that's what creates greater for you, right? So when you choose, say, get a sense of choosing Bangalore for 3 days and get a sense of how expansive your life feels and what you sense. And if it is light, if it is expansive, just choose that. The next 3 days, if you choose not choose Bangalore and you choose Mumbai, but you feel really heavy about it, you feel like I don't have any freedom here, my parents are after my life for something or the other, they're just so controlling, then you already know what will contribute
know
more
the answer.
dynamically, right? So just live with that choice for 3 days and live without it for 3 days and see what is lighter and just choose that. That's because you can also ask, what would my life be 5 years from now if I choose this? And what would be my life 5 years from now if I don't choose this? 5 years is far enough, yet close enough for you to get an energetic awareness of that choice and what that creates. And yeah, go for it then.
Sure. That really helps. Thanks so much. I'm gonna
You're
do
welcome.
this. Yeah.
You're welcome. All right. So now let's talk about getting out of our own way. Like when you talk about the mountain that is you, how many times do you keep stopping yourself? Nobody else is stopping you. You are the one stopping yourself. Okay. And most successful people on earth will actually agree that the keys to getting what you want has nothing to do with the world around you. Instead, it actually has everything to do with the world within you. Okay. So what is going on in your space? Are you constantly doubting yourself? Are you constantly pulling yourself down, berating yourself? See, the whole world is there to do that anyways. Why would you choose to be that energy to yourself? That energy of constantly judging yourself, constantly saying I'm not good enough, or I can't even create this, or I can't even choose this. Now, usually, like we all know that it's usually our internal circumstances and not the external ones which actually determine the shape that our life is going to take. Okay, so once you take the ownership of that fact, once you choose that, once you acknowledge, okay, cool, what is it within me that is preventing things from showing up, that then the whole world will start looking very different to you, because now you're willing to actually see what is it that's actually giving me stuck, what are my points of view that might be creating this. So I'll give you a small example. There was an event sometime last year, okay, and I worked really hard for that. Eventually, to a large extent, I did not really get the credit for that, and I felt totally sidelined. And I was wondering, okay, what the hell just happened here? I put in so much of efforts. What went wrong? You know, and I was upset with certain people, with a few people, and I was really, really upset. And I was wondering how to deal with it. Should I speak to them? Should I do something about it? And there were a couple of times when I actually, thought maybe I should speak to those people and say, okay, hey, this wasn't done. Like, why the hell did you do this? Something like this. And why did you treat me like this? And then I just became very present to the fact, like when we talk about being sidelined, can anyone truly sideline you unless you are somewhere energetically giving them the permission to do that? And I kept asking myself this question, and I was like, where the hell did I give people the permission to sideline me? What am I being here? What am I unwilling to be here, that if I was willing to be that would outcreate and overrule all these places that I'm stuck, or everywhere that I've given people the authority or the honors or whatever else to treat me a particular way. I now destroy and uncreate that. Right? So I became really, really present. And it wasn't an easy choice. I felt really bad. And it carried on for a few months because I kept thinking, why? Now, what happens is when you're looking for that why, when you're asking why as a question, the why does not really contribute because it'll just keep you looping in that whole thing. You're just looping again and again, and that doesn't really create. So, because somewhere you're trying to understand why someone would do something like this. So to understand someone, you have to stand under the universe. You have to fit into their shoes and see what were they thinking when they were behaving like this. They were just choosing what worked for them, right? And everybody chooses what works for them. What is it within you that you're not willing to take charge of your life, of certain things that you worked really, really hard for? So a lot of times it's just basically judgments that you are scared of, or you're not very sure like how it would show up, or different things. Everybody has different stuff going on, right? Even though you feel you've really overcome a lot, but there's still so much of work lined up. So anytime you have an issue, say with example with some friends or something, and you feel, how could my friends treat me a particular way? What exactly is going on here? So that's the time for you to actually look and acknowledge the fact that when people are talking to you in a particular way, or they are saying something to you, or they're being a certain energy with you, it's got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with what they are feeling internally, what's going on in their own life, the level of insecurity that they're going through, or jealousy, or their own battles that they're fighting, or certain triggers that might be surfacing for them. Just know it's got nothing to do with you. The fact they just think that you're close enough for them to lash out at you, because a lot of times people tend to lash out. We ourselves tend to lash out at our own parents and all because we know how much they love us, right? So sometimes you can also take them for granted. So when your friends are treating you a particular way, they might be also taking you for granted because they know you'll always be there for them. So if instead of taking certain things to heart and feeling really, really bad, yes, it's okay for you to feel bad. But what if you could be with that feeling, just be present with it and say, okay, cool. What is it about this that's triggering me? What is the unhealed part of me that is getting triggered by the way my friend reacted to me, or the way my friend spoke to me or treated me? Look within yourself, because somewhere there is some trigger point that needs to be healed, or you need to take charge of or take ownership of what is it that's going on within you that needs to be sorted first. Okay. The first thing we tend to do is anytime you're interacting with, if somebody speaks to us like this, or somebody treats us in a little, like somebody's mean and nasty and rude with us, or sidelines us, we feel it's my fault, right? And I'm never going to talk to this person again. And the first thing we do is separate from them. You know, we end up creating that comfortable distance. Now, what if you could just be present with their choices? And what if you did not have to separate from anyone? What if you could just acknowledge, okay, cool, they have something going on and they chose to speak about it, or something is going on with them and they chose to treat me in a particular way. Does this work for me? No, it doesn't. When you are feeling a little better, you can just go ahead, when it's no longer triggering you, you can always have a word with them and say, hey, what made you speak to me like this, or what made you treat me like this, right? But when you are hurting, that's not really the time to speak or anything. That's the time for you to look within and see, okay, what about this is actually triggering me, and how do I change this? How do I outcreate these trigger points? And you can also ask, okay, how old am I being? Because something from some childhood memory might have surfaced where somebody had spoken to you in a particular way or treated you in a particular way. And once you start healing that aspect, a lot of things starts changing. Okay. So now, why am I talking about this? It's because when, say, suppose you're looking at starting a new business venture, just give me a minute. If you're looking at starting a new business venture, right now, what happens is you're full of doubts. You're like, will I be even successful? What if others are better than me? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? And all that. That's all coming up based on all those places that are triggering you, things that you've grown up with, places where you've constantly doubted yourself, places where you've been actually looking for validation from others. When you're following an energy, when you're not looking for logic, but when you're following an energy, and that's when you realize, just a minute. When you're following an energy, then all these spaces for doubt does not really show up, because when you're following an energy, there is a level of awareness that you're functioning from. And when you're aware, when you trust yourself, there's so much more that you end up creating. Who is this? Do you have a question, Uja? Yeah, go ahead. You had a question? Unmute. Sorry, I muted you. If anyone of you has a question, just raise your hand on this thing, Zoom. Rachna, did you have a question?
No, sorry, I think I got unmuted by mistake.
Oh, okay, no worries. All right, cool. But now, does anyone have a question with all that I've spoken right now? Any one of you? Okay, cool. Looks like no one has a question. All right. So now, so when, how does one take ownership of their lives? You can ask some questions that will actually help you take ownership of your life in business. Okay. First thing is, what are the judgments that you have? Okay. That are keeping you from creating your own reality beyond this reality, keeping you from creating bigger and greater, keeping you where you are, keeping you creating from a place of mediocre. Now, what happens is, when you are creating from a place of mediocre, how many times you are actually surrounding yourself with people who are always choosing mediocre for themselves, where they have a point of view about money, how difficult it is to earn money, and they make money very, very, very significant. And when the people around you are choosing mediocre or making mediocre choices, somewhere you also get really complacent, and you feel, okay, this is my reality. But when you're following an energy, you can actually acknowledge, okay, what is my awareness? What is my reality, and where can I find that? What would I like to create? I'm here in this world. I'm not here to just while away my time. What am I aware of? What am I here to create? What choices can I make today that my future self will thank me for? What talents and abilities do I have that I've not yet acknowledged, that if I were to acknowledge them, would open up a whole new world of possibilities for me and my businesses? So when you start asking questions like that, there's a whole world that starts opening up, whole world of awareness. And when you're following an energy, sometimes things are not very clear for you, but there is an energy to it. When you follow that, it opens up such bigger playgrounds for you to actually start creating from. Okay. Now all those people who have self-limiting beliefs, okay, the main challenge is to realize that these beliefs are self-imposed, right? Now, Therefore, they can be self-removed. So if you are only self-imposing these limiting beliefs, you are only going to be the one to remove them. That's why the mountain is you. You are the one creating all those roadblocks. And what's the value of choosing that? What is that? What are those roadblocks creating in your life? Okay. So now, so then we come to this point where we realize that when others can create such bigger creations or bigger businesses, what is it? Why not me? What is it that's stopping me? Okay. So we ask yourself, okay, what am I unwilling to be here? What am I unwilling to do here that if I was willing to be and do would open up a whole new world of possibilities for me? So you don't really need to try and understand why are you stopping yourself. That's just going to keep you in the loop. But you acknowledge and understand that, but you acknowledge and you become aware of the fact that, yes, I have been stopping myself. Okay, what needs to change? This question will start opening up a whole lot of awarenesses for you to outcreate and overcome. Okay, now, so if you feel you're not creating, okay, maybe what you can do is get a bit disciplined. Okay, so who needs to be disciplined? So when does the need to be disciplined come in? See, there are people who just create energetically. They just follow the energy and then they go ahead and create. But then there are a lot of people who seem to be stuck. So then maybe creating small spaces where you can actually be disciplined about something, where you create more from a space of choosing it every day, again and again and again, where you're focused on that creation. Sometimes that's what opens up. Okay. So if you don't trust yourself, if you don't honor yourself, if you're not committed to yourself, if you are not interested in achieving something, then guess what? You will actually start finding excuses for not doing what it takes to achieve it. So if you're not creating things, acknowledge where are you actually looking for reasons and justifications to why you can't choose something. Also, when we are choosing something which has the potential to be really, really big, somewhere we've been conditioned to think or believe that we cannot really achieve great or greater, right? It might be people pulling us down, saying things, judging us constantly, being a weird, mean, nasty energy around us, right? It can be your own parents doing that at times. It can be your own friends doing that and forming certain opinions about you in a way where they're judging you. So what happens is you start thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. And if my friends don't think I can create it, then maybe I really can't, right? So we start looking at ourselves through other people's eyes to see what we are being or who we are being at that moment. The moment you start looking within you and seeing what you truly are, you're totally aware, right? When people are saying something or judging you that you won't be able to create. Wait, let me rephrase this in a different way, in a way that'll help you explain it in a little better way. So what happens when you walk into a room full of people? You immediately perceive the energy that's there in the room. You immediately become very, very aware of what are those people's judgments about you, about themselves, and a whole lot of things. What most of us do is we just contract and shrink and really put forward a very bent, folded, stapled, mutilated version of ourselves in front of them. Now, when you're interacting, why do we do that? Not because we feel we are less than, but somewhere we feel we need to fit in with them. And to fit in with them and not to make them insecure, you come forward, you put forward the bent, folded, and stapled and mutilated version of you, right? So when you're interacting with people, now they start identifying you with that version of you that you're showcasing them, right? But that's not the true you. So they start thinking that's what you are. And when they're interacting with you, they feel good about themselves because they feel you're either at their level or they are slightly one step better than you, right? So they feel complacent, they feel comfortable, they're just around you. And then you start feeling like a fraud because that's not who you truly are. So when you go forward and create something big and huge, these people end up leaving you. They'll constantly judge you, they'll pull you down, or they'll say how they are really surprised at how could so and so go ahead and achieve such great things, right? Now, the first thing they'll do is separate from you and move away. And then you feel, oh my God, I've lost all my friends. You've not lost your friends. You've just lost people who were not really your well-wishers in the first place. And secondly, now there's something that you're being out in the world that they would actually like to create. And since they're not able to do that, they are constantly judging you and pulling away, right? And now they can't control you also, right? Because you're not that limited version person that you were putting forward to them. So that's what I'm trying to say. There are a lot of times so what happens is when we are constantly doubting ourselves with the creations, when we're like, can we even create big enough? It's like we have that energetic awareness, we go looking to create that big, whatever it is that we're looking to create. And then we suddenly become aware of all those people who do not really trust us, who choose to see only the limited version of us, and then we go back to that shell, right? Because we want to identify with them. We're looking to be validated. The game changer here is the moment you look within yourself, when you trust yourself, when you have the 5 elements of intimacy with yourself, which you'll read in the foundation class, when you're willing to trust yourself, even if nobody, and when you're willing to have your back, that's when things start shifting and changing, because it doesn't matter who's there with you or not. When you're willing to be the leader in your own life, so it doesn't matter who's joining you, who's coming along, but you are aware of an energy, just follow that. Just keep choosing that and beyond. And you'll realize you've no idea how many people you'll be actually inspiring just by choosing to follow the energy of what you know is available. Because how many people are actually looking at you and being inspired and seeing that there are so many times and places where you chose not to give up, where things are really difficult, but you chose to keep on trudging along and choosing more and more and more and more and not giving up. So if you're really truly looking to create, that's one place to start from, right? And okay, what else? So to actualize something, there are a few different spaces where you can start choosing from. So first thing is the choice to have it, to be it, to create it. Now, it's not something that you just choose today. Okay, I'm going to be it, do it, create it. And today I'm choosing this. And tomorrow you've immediately forgotten about it. And third day you have a conversation with a friend and they talk you out of it, or they end up imposing their limitations on you. Guess what? And then you start falling in line with their limitations. And then you're like, oh yeah, what was I thinking? How did I even think that I could even choose something like this? So guess what? You've allowed people to talk you out of it. So when you make a choice, you have to choose that every single day, every day. I'm choosing it every 10 seconds is even better, but if you can't do that, at least choose it every day. Because when you are choosing it every day, you will be more committed to actualizing it and creating it. Okay. Now, no matter how committed you are, there will be days when you will slip. Okay. So instead of judging yourself, just be kind, acknowledge, okay, cool, I slipped today. Now what else can I do? Okay, just be very kind, or be kind to yourself. Don't judge yourself. Okay. And also be present and take a look at everywhere that you've been judging you for not having created and actualized the desired changes that instantly. Okay. And ask, okay, if I was not busy judging myself, what other possibilities can I receive and create? And that starts shifting and unraveling, and things start opening up very dynamically. Okay, now you can also ask, okay, what is required here to actualize my ask at the speed of space, right? Like really, really fast. So what could I be or do? What choices could I make today that I've never considered before? What can I do different? And pock and pod everywhere, it doesn't allow you to have that awareness. There's another question that you can ask is, what can I create today that will actualize more? How can I be the energy of fun and play today that will actualize more than I can ever imagine possible? You can talk to your business, what contribution can I be to you? Money, what contribution can I be to you and receive from you? What contribution can I be to receiving you? A lot of times you're not willing to receive the money, okay, or other things that are coming in our spaces. So what contribution can I receive from you? And instead of making the business or those creations very, very significant and based out of total conclusions and presumptive realities and all the big fives and everything else, ask, if I was actualizing my business from play, from fun, from the joy of it, what would I choose? So when you become aware of these things and start asking questions like this, see, what I'm inviting you to is, instead of pulling yourself down, judging yourself, feeling bad, look at ways to look for possibilities. If something is not working out, somewhere you're not committed to creating it, somewhere you're not choosing it. You are focusing more on how you will choose something instead of just going ahead and choosing it. So when you choose something, and when you don't give up and you're really, really stubborn about that choice, then the entire universe starts changing things around to actualize it for you. Okay, like my favorite quote is, the universe always, always, always falls in love with a stubborn heart who chooses not to give up. That is a game changer. So if something is not showing up in your world, things that you've been really asking for, whether it is relationship, whether it's doing better in your business, whether it is something to do with your body or some health issue that needs to change, or whether it's creation of money, if it is not showing up, somewhere you're not choosing it, okay? And somewhere you're not committed to having it. Somewhere you're more committed to all the reasons why you can't have it. Okay, so what happens is, so what if you chose not to, so, okay, no more self-victimization. Okay, so what happens is, when things go wrong or things fail, like our lives fail to meet our expectations, so what happens is, it's very natural to try and blame someone. Okay, we look for people to blame. It's because of so-and-so that I couldn't do this, or because of my kids, I couldn't choose this, or because I belong to a certain family, I can't choose this, or because I didn't have the money or the health, or there can be 1,001 reasons and a whole lot of trauma and drama that we end up creating. We look for people to blame. Okay, and then we feel good about it because we like, okay, cool, it's because of so-and-so we couldn't choose, and that will also give you reason to hate that person. Now, the last person we want to point fingers at is ourselves. Okay, so what happens when you're laying blame on others? It does nothing more than just validate our excuses and allow that the unfortunate to fall in the victim rut. Okay, now so what makes certain people succeed in living a happy life, and some people and others sort of condemned to a life that is totally devoid of accomplishments and validation? What is it? It's just literally the world within us. Where are we looking for self? Where are we creating self-victimization or choosing self-victimization and looking for reasons why we can't choose something? Okay. Now, does anyone have any question? I think I just not giving anyone a choice. Lakshmi has. Lakshmi, do you have a question? With you unmuted. Just a minute. Let me just.
No, I'm sorry. It just happened. I'm so sorry.
All right. Okay. Okay. Komal, the big five is it's in the new foundation, which you will, whenever you do that, it's all the information is there. It's based on the presumptive reality and need for reactive realities and so on. Okay, it's all that together is known as big five. And what else? What about when we don't know what we really are or what we want to create? As after a point of being just aware, we also need to take action for some things. How can we do that when we don't even know? So, you remember when I was talking about following the energy? It is, you are energetically aware of something. There is sometimes there's a lightness to certain choices. Suppose, let's take for example, suppose you want to go on a trip with certain friends. Those friends, being with those friends just lights up your world. You just feel so good and nice. But they're all maybe, say, going to Hong Kong, okay? And somewhere you've decided that, oh, I can't spend so much of money to travel all the way to Hong Kong. What will happen here? How will I ask my parents to create that money or give me that money? Or how will I create that kind of money? So you've already decided that you can't choose it, right? So it's our own conclusions and decisions and all the reasons and justification that we look at where we stop ourselves from even choosing something that we would really, truly expand our world, right? So that's how it shows up. Now, even if you don't know what you'd like to choose, some things you're energetically aware of. Let me give you an example. Long back, so many years ago, when I'd become a certified facilitator, and then I was choosing to be a Joy Business facilitator. And to go there, I had to go to Napa Valley, all the way to Napa Valley, which was really, really far off from India. And the class was expensive. And the other option was to choose to be the talk to the entity facilitator in that year. And I knew I couldn't choose both because there were things lined up. And which was the talk to the entity facilitator training was somewhere in Europe, which is closer to India. The tickets would have cost less. There were no royalties to be paid unless you were creating classes. And the cost of the class was also cheaper than that. And when I chose, but there was something about that particular class, the Joy Business CF training, that just kept calling out to me. I had no clue why I was choosing it, but there was an energy to it. And so much so that my passport, I'd given it for renewal, it did not show up on time. And I actually literally, that's a story for some other time, but all I'm saying is I kept on choosing it still, whether I had passport or not. So I just told the universe, I don't care if I have a passport or not, I am choosing this. I'm choosing to go for this class. Make it happen, universe, whatever it takes. And that strength of the choice was so dynamic that I actually received my passport at 4 p.m. and I had to be at the airport at 7 p.m. So it was literally, I just barely had time to get back home, change, and go. I had everything packed and all. So what I'm trying to say is, now, I was just following an energy. I had no reason why I was choosing this. If I would use a lot of logic, I would have chosen something that was cheaper, that was close by, something that was where I didn't really have a sword hanging on my head, where I had to keep paying royalties, whether or not I was trading a class. So, because I was supposed to be part of a hub then. But I still chose that. I have no clue why I chose that. But when I chose that, I would see everybody in all parts of the world, because I got added to the group, right? The JCF group. Everybody in all parts of the world were just creating very dynamically. And then there came a point in time when I would dread picking up my phone and going through the messages first thing in the morning, because I was like, someone, some part of the world is creating stuff, and here I am just chilling and being so complacent. So that started, what they were being in that group started inviting me to more possibilities. Then I kept on choosing. And then there were a lot of challenges which made sure that I had no choice but to step up and keep choosing more. So sometimes, and did it create big for me? Yes, definitely. Suddenly I was part of only 35 facilitators worldwide, and the level of creation that they were being was totally amazing. So much, I was just inspired so dynamically by them. So you've no idea what is it, but just be willing to follow the energy. Sometimes you don't know what it looks like. Sometimes you don't know. What if you did not have to analyze every choice? What if you did not have to pinpick certain things? What if you just followed the energy? What would that create? Rashi, you have a question? Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Because I can just keep talking. I love doing this. Anyone else?
You're actually doing very well. It's like, you just feel like listening to what is something in reality.
Cool. Thank you for that. And anyone else has any questions? Kiran Mai. How do you pronounce your name? Kiran Mai.
Kiran Mai. No, Mai.
Nice. Kiran Mai.
Kiran Mai.
Kiran Mai. Do you have any question also? Anything
No.
that's keeping you stuck?
No. I mean, like whatever I had, you had answered already.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, Ritu.
Hi, Smriti.
Hi.
So I just realized that after a few months, I start going into a rabbit hole again.
Okay.
And I don't know why, means I cannot pinpoint the reason for why I get into it or know the trigger point which creates it. But I've realized that I go into a rabbit hole after a couple of months if I see there is something, a slight dip, and I start going down. And with your call or another person, another facilitator gives this thing, I get up. So this is a pattern which I've noticed in the last 1 year, in this year. So I would like to change that, because I don't
what
want
happens?
to go into that rabbit hole like this.
So what makes you go into that rabbit hole?
As I said, there is a slight dip in my work, and I just go down.
Okay. So when you're creating big, when there is a level of ease with all that you're doing, right? Where have you decided that you can't have this permanently or constantly? Not permanently, but constantly. To the choice to have ease with your creations, with everything that's with your relationships, with work, at your workspace, it's again a choice which you have to choose every day. Okay. Now, what happens is the moment you feel somebody is constantly judging you at your workspace, suddenly you will get a sense of that what pulls us down. Mainly, it's people's judgments. Why do people judge us? To control us.
Yeah.
Right? So guess what? They are being very successful in controlling you. Because when they are judging you, everything, your whole, that momentum just takes a deep down spiral, and then you go down the spiral rabbit hole. And that's it. There's a process in Access known as the Archimedean spirals, where it's a constant thing of going down the rabbit hole, coming up, sorting out, and then going down the rabbit hole again, and so on. Okay, so you can just ask, okay, what Archimedean spirals am I using to create this? Am I choosing?
Okay.
And everything that is, and now destroy and uncreate it all, followed by the clearing statement. right? You can just maybe say that. Secondly, also what happens is when we start becoming very aware of other people's judgments, and or we just suddenly want to fit in with what's going on. It's like, you're surrounded by mediocre people. So when you are choosing what's greater for you, when you start actually choosing and actualizing this, some way you feel, okay, I can't be like this forever, because look at the people around me, and I don't want to lose them. So guess what? Down the rabbit hole you go to fit in with them again. Right? So the fear of judgments, the fear of not being willing to lose people, and then a whole lot of things, different things. But this is one of the main couple of reasons why this might be showing up.
So, what really hit me strong was the thing which you said, constantly. So somewhere that thing that I cannot be constantly moving up, and I have to go down, that, or constantly.
It can't be that easy, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of So whose patterns? Maybe someone in your life. It could be a sibling, it could be a parent, it could be your friends or colleagues. Somewhere you might just be mimicking their patterns, or you just might be being them. Yeah, you just might be being them, right? So be aware of that and say, okay, what do I need to do to outcreate that? Also, if you know the body process, the biomimetic mimicry, just do that. Maybe that might contribute also. And one more clearing that you can do is, whose lies, what lies, and how many lies am I using to create this? Am I choosing to create this deep down spiral? Am I choosing everything that is, I now destroy and uncreate it all, followed by the clearing statement, right? So that sometimes, we are just picking up other people's points of view, because sometimes the people closest to us end up imposing a lot of their limitations onto us, not because they're wishing us bad. It's just that they don't want us to get hurt, or they don't want something to go wrong. So they would impose their fear onto you. Sometimes it's like that. Like I remember long back when my son was very small, and I would be like, and he would want to walk on the wall and all sorts of stuff, right? And I would be like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And I would be so scared that what if he falls down? And that's the time my husband told me, he's like, why don't you just get up and walk along with him? Like, you hold his hand, let him walk on the wall, you just walk on the side. Be there to hold him in case he falls. But just let him have that confidence to just walk on that wall if that's what he wants to do. Right? So we end up imposing our fears. So sometimes your parents might be doing that, your siblings, sometimes friends and colleagues. So be very, very present. And a good question to ask is, what is my reality and where can I find that? Because we are just so busy, especially when you're seeing deep down spirals, it's like you're trying to fit in with everybody else's reality except choosing what works for you. Right? And a lot of times when you create all these trauma and drama and struggle, what happens is, it's like, especially when you're going for some important work or something, some great achievement, or something that really is very important to you, you'll realize that there'll be a whole lot of trauma and drama around you, in your house or with your friends, with colleagues, at workspace, or some issue with your body. Why does that show up? It's because how can it be so easy? Right? So how can we have it all? So we have to create things. And it's just simple, basic things like that. So be very present with every choice that you're making. And also, there are people who will be manipulating you. There'll be people who will be trying to control you. It could be at your workspace. It could be your own boss doing that and stuff. Now, you have a choice every moment to not be the effect of their manipulations, right? So if I would choose to have my own reality, and if I would choose not to be the effect of other people's manipulations and choose my own reality, what magic can I create for myself? What choices can I make today that my future self will thank me for? Right? So no matter who's doing what, no matter what trauma drama is going on around you, what if you did not have to be the effect of all that? What if you did not stop your choice? Even if it looks impossible, even if things can be really, really bad, what if you could still choose to have your back and your choice, no matter how it shows up? Like, I'll just give a short example, and I think we've gone beyond an hour. So after that, we'll end the call, and maybe I'll see you guys soon again. So I'll just give a quick example. Pragya, you can break that with the questions that I just mentioned. And I've also mentioned some more questions earlier in this call. So that would open up more possibilities for you. So sometime last year, I was due to travel, and one family member ended up fracturing their arm. And this was on a Saturday, and Monday morning I had to leave. Okay, and I was going to US. And I was in the middle of one of the events, a class, and this is what happened. And this family member did not want me to travel to US. And so all these stunts usually get tried like that. And now it's a huge thing, okay? And maybe that family member did not really think that the bone would break or whatever, but it happened, okay? Sometimes when you choose to pretend something and you want to go the whole hog so that you look authentic, sometimes it sort of backfires. So that's what happened. And I was really upset because I had to go meet my daughter, and I hadn't met her in like 4 or 5 months. So I was so looking forward to that trip. And so I took this family member to go to the hospital and everything. They said she needs a surgery and there's an operation lined up, and that will happen only on Monday because the doctor doesn't work on Sundays. And I was like, oh my God, here goes my trip. Okay. And then I was obviously definitely concerned about that person and stuff, till that person happened to say, now how will both of you go? Now only one of you can go. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I said, well, that's what you wanted. So congratulations. And that person was taken aback. Like, how can I say like that? And how can I speak like that? But then what I did was, when I came back home, I packed an overnight kit for this person. I packed overnight kit for myself because I had to stay in the hospital. And I saw my suitcase, and I just put it on the bed and I packed for my trip. And I just told the universe, I'm choosing this, make it happen. I don't care how it shows up, but I'm choosing this, make it happen. Now, when I asked for that, it was a choice that I was making to go for this trip. I wasn't vested in the outcome that I have to go on Monday itself. I wasn't vested in any outcome, but except for choosing to have that choice. So I knew if I don't go on Monday, I might go a week later, or I might go a month later, but I am going. So I said, I'm packing my bags for that trip. And guess what? I went for that event, came back, went to the hospital and stuff. And this person says, the doctor came here and he said, you don't need a surgery. And because we can't put your body through the anesthesia and stuff, the general anesthesia. So you'll have to just keep your hands like this in the whatever plaster and stuff, and just, yeah. So there was no surgery. And guess what? And we had people at home who could take care of this person. And I managed to go for the trip. The reason I'm giving this example is for you to know, no matter what's going on around you, don't let go of your choice to have what you're choosing. Whether you have enough money or not, whether there are things going on. The choice to choose something is what is paramount. That's what's really, really, really important. Go for it. Don't let anybody else manipulate you or out manipulate you. Cool. So hopefully that should take care of things. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. There is a, when am I planning to facilitate this class next? I keep doing these gift calls very often. Whenever I'm in the mood, I just go ahead. Maybe you can join. You can send me a message and I'll add you to my group. And yeah, so you'll know next. And those of you, in case any one of you looking to attend a class with me, I have a Access Business and Money class coming up. It's a one-day joy of business specialty class. It's just a one-day class on 30th of November. And you can connect with Rashi for any information, or you can connect with me. And what else?
You want to talk about the business done different?
Yeah, and we have a business done different, which is a beautiful, beautiful class, my most favorite class. It's a 3-day class on business, and mainly it is about all those places where you're stopping yourself from showing up very dynamically in your business, stopping yourself, what's going on within you that's keeping you stuck. So this was just 1% of what that whole class is all about. And even the business and money class, the one-day class is also pretty dynamic. What else? And then I also have mentorship, business mentorship program coming up, which we start from the 1st of January. And if you want more information on that, you can just log on to smritigoswami.com. It has all the information. And Rashi, can you just type that in the messages? So my name without the E, okay? smritigoswami.com. So the first page has all that information on that mentorship. There are 3 different payment modes. So you can choose what works for you. And it's a call with me every day. Every Monday, one call with me. So we will be having, there's a lot of information. It's all given there. You can have a look at it, and maybe I will create a call for that. So these are the 3 things that are options that are showing up in case any one of you would like to choose. And
I just have a question. 2-3 people have asked me what's the difference between this one-day class and the whole, if they choose the business done differently.
Both are very different classes.
Yeah,
both are very different classes. Both have a manual, and both are very dynamic classes and really get you out of your stuck energy. So any time you're looking to be really, really motivated and you're looking to really create something dynamic, any one of these classes is really good. 3 days more extensive, that's the only difference. It's like, and it's loaded with clearing. So it's like a total overhauling of your whole body, being, everything. That's what. Cool. Any other questions, or we can go? Yes, I will be sending the recordings of today's Zoom. I will just post it everywhere. And if you message me, I will add you to the group. So definitely it'll be there. You're welcome. The reason I give the examples is to know that if I can choose, if I can outcreate whatever I'm stuck with, anybody can. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I'm just so grateful. I forgot to click pictures, but, oh, you did? Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone. And I'll hopefully see you very soon, either on one of these calls or in a class. So grateful for each one of you. Thank you. Thank you, Rashi. Bye, everyone.